Today's video has a little bit more of a personal turn. I have been receiving so many questions about hormones as I've shared my journey here on YouTube and on Instagram. Initially, I felt immense frustration with my body during the early stages of my hormonal journey. However, one day I decided to shift my perspective. I began to appreciate my body for signaling that something was wrong, something invisible but crucial that needed attention. From then on, I began reflecting to find the lifestyle changes that I needed to make. Hormonal imbalances aren't a sudden thing, they really stem from our daily choices. And in today's hustle culture where we're exposed to toxins and consume ultra-processed foods, maintaining body balance is really challenging. The good news is that there are tools and habits to help balance both body and mind. Your female body is so much more capable and intuitive than you actually might think. So let's hop in today's video. Where are we going to start today's video? In today's society, I feel there are so many women, so many younger girls who are struggling with hormonal imbalances. When I go into my DMs or into my comment section, I see so many of you asking about hormonal health, and with SoulSync Body, my wellness app, when I talk to community members there, so many girls and women have hormonal issues in some type of way. Over the past years, I have been making so many different lifestyle changes, and for anyone who has been here on the channel for a long time has kind of seen that evolving journey and has kind of lived that with me. I do need to disclaim that obviously I am not a doctor, I am not an expert in the field, but I do want to share a little bit more about my own journey and tips that have helped me in the past, because I really wish that maybe a couple years ago I was able to find videos like this and kind of listen to different women with different types of stories and different type of hormonal issues. It is important to recognize that this is for everybody so different, because all of us have different type of bodies, different type of hormones, and the symptoms can come in so many different ways. So you can have severe mood swings, or you can have a lot of inflammation, you can have acne or a lot of weight gain or weight loss, or your menstrual cycle is not regular, even low libido, a low sex drive. So those two last ones for me were very significant, and I really noticed, and that's kind of where I started to recognize something is not feeling right. And I still remember, you guys, that I went to the doctor for the first time and I was like, oh, I maybe want to do a hormonal test, my menstrual cycle is not regular or whatever, and the first thing they said was like, why don't you take the pill and go on birth control? Immediately I was like, I do not know much about all of this, but I just had like a very intense gut feeling that it was not the right thing to do to go on birth control to fix this. I also know that a lot of you who coming off birth control might have hormonal issues, so I really want to give some tips on the tools and things that have really helped me to kind of like figure this out. And I would say the number one tip is to start with a functional practitioner. Don't get me wrong, the Western medicine is amazing, and you know, it's great that we're able to treat so many different types of diseases and stuff, but it's very much based in history of like diagnosing, treating, medication. With a functional practitioner, they actually kind of go deeper into the root cause of your problem and seeing if they can switch this with often lifestyle changes. So that for me was a really important thing that I have figured out later now, but I remember when I was living in New York, I didn't really know where to go, I didn't really know who to see, and like start doing a blood test so you have immediately like accurate information kind of to see where you're at and actually where the hormonal imbalance might be coming from. I, here in LA, use a company called Getmala. They come to your house, do blood work, and then online you can do a consultant with a functional practitioner. You can also find a local functional practitioner. So I will link that also down below. And if you want to go really deep, I would recommend taking a Dutch test. This is really more accurate and more detailed based on all your type of hormones. Knowledge is so much power, and you actually know what you're working with. So for me, my symptoms were not having a menstrual cycle for a long time, having low libido, and feeling very fatigued and like very overwhelmed and like anxious kind of. And one of the number one things for me was regulating my nervous system and my stress levels. Stress is such, I don't know, it is so hard to manage because it's such like a big bucket, I would say, and it comes out in different ways. It's so different for different people, maybe, you know, depending on the season of your life you're in. Like some moments are going to be more stressful than like others. So it is much harder to actually regulate stress, because by regulating your stress, it means you need to regulate your emotions and thoughts, which is so hard. But there are a couple tools that can really help, and that also truly help me as well. I think my number one was finding an unwinding routine. I think I had kind of like a morning routine set every day I started, but like in the evening, I would basically work till really late and just kind of like shower and go straight to bed. And I just noticed that so many of these emotions and thoughts, like I would hold on into my body. So now in the evening, I actually close down my screens. For like about 45 minutes, I will not have any screen time. Put on maybe a candle, or I play some music. I love doing a little brain dump in the evening. So for 5 minutes, just kind of like write about the day, like how I'm feeling, how things went. And it's kind of like getting all of those thoughts on paper. And also it was kind of a way for me to check in with myself and check in with my body and just like be aware of the emotions and thoughts that I was feeling. I don't think before I was very conscious of what I was feeling, so it's really hard to like manage it then. Also, doing breath work was so powerful for me. I've been doing breath work in the morning, and I use an app called Open. They actually, in the month of May, starting a whole new big challenge. They have a studio here in LA, which is unreal. And it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And I find meditation so hard. I honestly can't meditate. Oh, well, self-limiting belief right there. I find meditation really tough, to sit still and just think about my breath. But with the breath work, you're actually doing something, and I can immediately feel a shift in my body, because when you're able to really control your breath, you're really going to be able to like navigate and regulate like your responses. I was in a class this morning, and the instructor was saying something very interesting at the beginning, that a lot of people think about a regulated nervous system with calmness. So okay, if I'm calm, if my body is calm, I have a regulated nervous system. But what it actually means to have a regulated nervous system is more your response system. How are you responding to situations? How are you responding to stress levels? So I think that's a big misconception a lot of people have about me. It's like, oh, you're always so calm and zen. But it doesn't mean my nervous system is calm and zen, and I feel a very intense stress and sometimes even like an anxious feeling inside. I don't know, it was something that I heard this morning, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. Another thing that really helped working on my cortisol levels is taking herbal supplements. I love taking magnesium at night. This really like helps calm down the body. Also, Ritual just launched a new supplement called Stress Relief, and one of the main ingredients is ashwagandha and L-theanine. Is also really amazing to calm down the body. And obviously switching my coffee for matcha, because the matcha has a lot of L-theanine as well and gives you that zen feeling. So honestly, really trying to regulate my emotions and just kind of like being more in touch has extremely helped. Also finding a work-life balance to really like try to shut off in the weekends, focus on filling my cup energy-wise, and throughout the week in the evenings shutting off my phone and not overworking and overloading. But it's hard because I'm passionate and I love so much what I do, and I always want to make sure that I, you know, get the best content and like just get the best, like, I don't know. Yeah, definitely finding a little bit more of a balance there. Then number 2 is nutrition. I think this was honestly really key for me. I started incorporating more carbohydrates and I started incorporating more protein. I always thought I was eating enough protein, but I really realized once I started like tracking the macros, I was like, wow, I really not. I've never been into calorie counting. I was interested in kind of like the macros of like protein and healthy fats and carbs, and the fats I've always been really good at, and incorporating seeds and nut butters and healthy fish like salmon and avocado oil and avocados and all of that. But for me, once I started upping my protein and carbohydrates, I don't know, I got so much more energy, and I think that was really the twisting point of like getting my menstrual cycle back. I feel for a lot of people too, when you're in a journey of like balancing your hormones, being able to regulate your blood sugar levels that have an influence on your insulin are going to be so important, and like staying away from any processed foods and really focus on like wholesome ingredients is absolutely key. So if you find it hard to kind of figure out on like what to eat for hormonal balance, I completely understand and I gotcha. I actually just launched a new playlist on my app Soul Sync Body where I have all my workouts, but also a lot of recipes and meal plans. And together with our dietitian Dominika, we curated and created some really amazing recipes that can really nourish your body, are very well balanced, have some amazing superfoods that can really help boost and really nourish those healthy hormones. So I will link that also down below so you can check it out. Also, no more coffee and caffeine in the morning on an empty stomach. It's not even just the caffeine. It is really the cortisol spike that coffee can have. And I am pretty sensitive, and I just really noticed that when I were having coffee on an empty stomach, my cortisol would go up. And again, that can really mess with your hormones. So even if you love your morning coffee, first thing in the morning, like have a little something with it. Maybe it's some fruits or a healthy fat or something with it, and don't have coffee on an empty stomach. Like I remember in New York, we would go until like 1 p.m. just walking around and just drinking like 3 cold brews, thinking it was all fine because we're like, oh, it's fasting and whatever. And now I look back at it, I'm like, wow, I was destroying my body. No wonder my body was kind of like all over the place. Managing your glucose spikes is also a very important one when it comes to nutrition. Kind of comes together with eating wholesome ingredients, not a lot of processed foods, not a lot of sugars, and really focusing again on like protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats instead. This will really help like manage your hormonal health. Number 3 was finding the right movement. I have gone through a whole period of time where I was doing a lot of HIIT workouts, and again, it's loud music, it's in these classes, your body's just running and sweating and doing. It causes your cortisol levels to go up, and sometimes even your recovery is like much harder. And I feel those workouts are really harsh for women to do over and over and over. Don't get me wrong, I think doing a class sometimes like that is really amazing mentally because it just feels so good, like being on a bike and like sweating it out. But doing this too many times, if you have like a lot of hormonal issues, can really like mess with, again, like your cortisol levels. So I started really turning to walking and doing low impact Pilates, which was really amazing for me to connect with my body. I think that was a really big one. And going to more of the low impact workout, I actually found more results as well, which was really crazy. I think, when was it, like 2 years ago, I started incorporating more strength training, but it was still low impact. And I think a lot of people have a misconception around this, that strength training and lifting weights is not low impact, but it can be. If you are doing burpees and jump squats and stuff in between, like very HIIT, then obviously it becomes more a HIIT workout. But if you just purely do weightlifting, it can actually be low impact. So if you feel like you're doing a lot of HIIT classes and you're constantly pushing your body over and over in really intense workouts, maybe try to switch it up a little and lean more to like low impact workouts. And I know this sometimes can be hard, especially if you're used to being hard on yourself and to pushing yourself always over and over. Sometimes you need to slow down to speed up, and it's sometimes really hard, but I promise you, you will start to feel so much better into your body. And then number 4 is really focusing on my recovery, especially if you're working out, if you're busy, and it kind of goes hand in hand with like unwinding. Just like taking time for myself and like for self-care, whether that's taking a bath or like going for a lymphatic massage, which is, by the way, really amazing because you get a lot of inflammation out of the body. It's my favorite massage type of massage to do. You can even do it on your face if you have inflammation like this. I mean, you guys know. I think also for me, a really big thing was understanding the different types of rest. I don't think I was resting my body enough. I was always go, and like really not in touch with my body. You know, on my off days, would still be out and about and see all people and like chat with everyone, or like, you know, be always on my phone or screen or laptop or watching something. And when I started to realize these different types of rest, so we have creative rest, emotional rest, physical rest. Physical rest is obviously, you know, taking a bath or like going for a massage or just like hanging at home and like not doing a lot of intense like work on the body is different than emotional rest, where maybe you need to spend some time alone and like away from people and like recharge that way. Or creative rest, where it's maybe a moment where you are doing something creative just for the fun of it, and something creative to like, I don't know, just like be in touch with yourself, whether that is painting or making something, or could be even like preparing, I don't know, a cake or whatever creativity like means to you. Also, like a sensory rest, very, very important, to not always be glued on our phones or not always to be glued on our laptops or TV screens. Just kind of like sometimes taking a step away from that. Spiritual rest. So for me, that really came into breath work, journaling, writing down my thoughts, and like being more in touch and checking in with myself and stepping into more of my feminine energy rather than being in my masculine energy. People always have both. You often lean to one or the other a little bit more. So a masculine energy is very bold, it's very powerful, like powered through. It is I don't even know how to like exactly describe it. It's like go, go, go. And it's beautiful to have masculine energy. And then a feminine energy is more very much in tune and flowy and maybe a little bit more spiritual. Naturally, I am in a more of a masculine energy, and like stepping a little bit more in the femininity of maybe not always being in control, maybe just leading into the unknown, maybe being more flowy, maybe doing a little bit more things I love to do, like dance, or I don't know. That has really helped me. I actually recently made a video with Jason about feminine and masculine energy, so if you guys would like to see that, then I can post that soon as well. But yeah, I think all of these things, you know, combined together have played a massive impact on my hormonal balance. The beauty is that I can actually feel a difference right now, which is so amazing. For you, your journey can totally look different, but these are some like general tips that have helped me and that can maybe help you. That if you focus on lowering down cortisol levels, eating wholesome foods, proper movement, not too much, not too little, and prioritizing rest, I think is so important, and not just for your minds or your body, but you know, also from like a spiritual level. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to find some hormone-friendly recipes, I just posted a new playlist on Soul Sync Body. These are all dietitian approved and are really nicely balanced with like healthy fats and protein and carbohydrates and everything, and tops with seeds and really things that boost and nourish those hormones. So if you enjoyed today's video, then please give it a thumbs up, because all your support is always so welcome. Leave a comment down below and subscribe. I would love to see you back, and see you soon.